And now?
Not really.
Are you seeing something now?
Yeah.
Okay, now this is a database that I'm in, and this is the workspace. Yeah, are you seeing my cursor?
Yeah.
Yes, this is a workspace, and it is a GIS. You get it? The graphical
Mm.
interconnection system. So this is its interface. I mean, this is the workspace where I can enter all my data. I mean, my objects in the different tables. So there are different tables. So when I select an item and I want to create it on the workspace, the database provides a form where I can enter all the details. You get. So for example, I'm going to create an object here. I select the object. I Okay, so I've created an object, though it is very small, you can't see it. But then on the left corner, lower corner, do you see something? This where my cursor is?
Yeah.
Yes. So now this is a kind of a form. So if I enter that object, in that table where it is, this is the form where I will enter the data from. So when I enter the data in this form, it will all go to the table where the table which is in the database. You get it? So for example, we have the name. So I could give this a name. So we have a naming convention that we use in here. So the IDs always start with an A, then I could give it something. You get?
Mm.
Yeah, so I've given it that name. Then there's also an option for putting in the street, since it is a GIS, so you can also enter the street in this same thing. Maybe let me say Kampala. Then city can keep the same. So some of these are already put there. They are already predefined. You get? So when I enter like Kampala, it is part of the cities that are entered in there. So now placement, you could choose any. There are also options in here. So let me say maybe it's on aerial. Then okay, let's use only those. So once I save this, then when I save this in the form. You get? Yeah. So when I come under here, you see that display?
Yes.
Yes. So now that is the table. So when I look for that item, within here, I should be able to see it. You get it? So you see these fields. We fill data in this form on the left corner, lower corner. We entered in data. So when we enter in that data, it all reflects in this table. This table is in the database. You get?
Mm.
Yeah. So you can see all the fields that are in the form. They also appear here. We have the name field, we have the city, then all those, we have the type. Whatever is in the form here is what is reflected here in the table. You get it? Eh?
Okay.
Yeah. So something like that. Yeah. So getting back the other side. Okay. So then we also talked about graphs. Yeah. Graphs for data representation. So there's also another option for graphs. I could just show you a glance of it here. Okay, so So when I come back here to the workspace, and then I come in here. So I have options of exporting. So I can export everything I have here in form of a graph, in form of a map, or as a semantic map. Yeah. So now these options give us a way of displaying the data, all the data that we have in here as a what? As a graph. Yeah. Then again, coming back here to the lists here. So this list, the one that contains all the tables in the database. Yeah. So if I have this data and maybe I need to get data about this particular table, I just come here to the export option. So when I come to the export option, it gives me different options of the file formats that in which I can export my data. You get, yeah. So I can export it as an HTML. I can export it as text. I can export it as a CSV or to Excel, but CSV is most preferable. Yeah, so that's it. So for graphs, as I've told you the options, I've showed you the options, how we display for the case of graphs, yeah. So for example, if we look at something like this, let it display. So we could look at this. So this can show us all the variables that are in this table in a graphic format, yeah? Do you see the graph?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So that is the graphic representation of all this. Yeah, so getting back the other side. Then we also have reports for data representation of some output. Yeah, so now the other export I was showing you, this export here, this export. So if I select the export option and I select CSV format, then I export this. So this will give us a report. It's going to give us a report that shows us everything the other side. So assuming I select the desktop as my saving, all this test. So once I save this, now it is saved on the computer. So when I open, so I think you can see that report, yeah? Yes, guys, you can see that?
Yeah.
Yes, but is it very visible? Is it okay? Can you see everything?
We can just see columns and rows, but we can't see the data that is in.
Anyway, my screen is a bit small, and I'm logged into like 3 other computers, one computer and then the server. So that's why the display is small. But then I would have it better, but then that's the only problem. So, but that is the kind of thing. So this is the kind of report that it can generate after you've exported from the server. Yes.
Okay.
Some of us have missed due to network. We've just sorted our issues. What should we do?
Hello.
Graphic. Yeah.
Anyway, this is Felix.
Sorry.
Thank you. Hello.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you for what you have done. Although, actually, I've just started my section right now. I would wish, I don't know whether you can like start like fresh. Okay, not afresh, but just pass over through what you have done, just to make some of us catch up with the remaining part that we did not get. Is it okay?
Fine. It's well, sir. Okay, we started by going through these questions. So we are still on this question 1, I think it is Roman 1 of part A. I mean part A of this question, and we're looking at the interface components and their functions. So while looking at the interface components, we looked at forms, and we said that they are used for data entry. So after that, when we looked at that and said that looked at the form and then the function, so we went here. I'm coming through.
Solomon,
Yes.
you're so fast.
Okay, this is let me bring up a suggestion. Yeah. For what we've passed, can we leave it for now? I'll come back after.
Yeah.
Or a good option. I believe someone is also recording. Maybe someone will also be playing.
Yeah. By the way, Edwin is recording. So when we are done, he will throw the recording in the group. Yeah. You will catch up with the beginning part.
Anyway,
I think that would be another. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Fine.
Even hadn't done so much that they can miss.
Yeah. We have not done so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've seen our forms, we've seen graphs, we've seen reports. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Then we also have menus. So menus, these are used to control access to the data structures. Yeah. So now for the case of menus, I won't go deep because you all know this is back end. So I wouldn't want to tamper with the stuff. So we are going to skip that I will not present that. Yeah. Okay. So the next part is asking us outline NFO features. Guys, excuse me, please. You can mute yourselves so that we don't have feedback. Are we okay now?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So the next part was asking us to outline NFO features required for a good interface design in general. So first of all, the first point here is user help. So like any good user interface should have indicators to show users what data to enter in a particular field. You get. So just getting the other side. So so this is an interface, or I would call it a workspace for the for easy for easy explanation. Yeah. So in this workspace, I think you can see if I'm a user and I have all the rights, I have all the privileges, and I would like to make any changes or any edits in the data or to create anything new, you can see we have a form here. On this interface, we have a form on my left. Yeah, you get it? We have a form here. So this form shows you which data you're supposed to enter in every field. We have the name field. So meaning that here you're supposed to enter the name. Then we have the street, meaning in this field, you're supposed to enter the street name. You get. Then we have the city, we have the state, we have placement. So, and then these give you options. You get. So you can either edit if you know the state, you edit the state. You get, you type it in manually. Then there are some that are predefined. You get, not like the ID. So this ID is like the primary key. So it is automatically generated by the database. So these ones are already predefined. The moment you enter in a new object, the database automatically generates an ID. Then these other ones that are editable. So every field is given an indicator to show you which data you're supposed to enter in. So that's what I was trying to explain the other side. Okay. So we have data validity. So data validity is just to ensure that the data that the user is to enter in a particular field has no mistakes before it is passed to the server. Yeah. So I'm going to show you an example where I'm going to enter data that is not valid, then it will be rejected. So for example, if I let me just get here something. So where I am, I'm in a search window, and I'm going to search for an item in the database, but I'm going to use a wrong name. So because I've used the wrong name, that particular item won't be displayed. But when I use the right name, it will then come through, okay?
Solomon,
Yes.
are you not speaking anymore?
Sorry? No, I'm still trying something, yeah? Okay, so now I've entered this. I have an item that is already there that has this, you know, it has an ID, but then there is a letter that is missing. So when I try to search for that item in the database, it won't show up. But then when I get the full naming convention of that item and I search for it, it will then show up, okay? So now I've tried searching here. Yeah, this is the search button, but it doesn't show up. The database just displays everything that is in that table, you get. But then when I put in the right name as it is supposed to be, now when I go and search, yeah,
Boss, you're saying something.
not yet. I'm still changing some privileges here. Then I get back, yeah?
Okay.
Yes.
Ibra, I'm saying something. My hand is up, but I don't know why you guys are not seeing me.
Yes,
Oh.
you please continue. You're already unmuted.
Okay, so
Kosi, are you saying something?
yes, I'm asking.
Yes.
Now, the question we're attempting right now is features required of a good interface in a database. Is it?
Yes.
Now, do users communicate with the database directly, or I want someone to explain to me how a database can have a good interface? Or we're talking about a website. Hello?
Kosi, let me get that, okay?
Okay.
Kosi? Yes.
Yes.
So you see, a moment, please. 1 second. Okay, so Kosi, you see when we talk about the interface, the database, you cannot see the database physically. All you can see is the tables and the data representations. You get, yeah? But the interface is that display that you have the moment you log into the server to access the database. You get what I'm saying, yeah? So now like this, what is displayed on, what you see on my screen right now, this is the interface, you get. But this interface is to help me make changes, make manipulations, make modifications on the data that is already in the database, you get. So if I want to see the tables in the database, which I connect to using this interface, that's why I showed you this. You see where my cursor is? So when I click on this, I get a display of the tables that are in the database. You get? So these are the tables in the database, but this you see here is the interface, that user interface, like the way you log into your computer, and you have that desktop, the display. That's how you log into your computer. So the same thing here, you get. So this, when I'm onto this is my interface. This is the user interface that I use to log into the database. You get. Kosi,
Yes, I get. Thank you.
you get it now, eh?
Yes.
Okay. So we can continue?
Yes, we can.
So we were talking about the other part of, we talked about the other part of what? Of data to be right before it is entered into the database. You get it? So, and I was doing an example, or showing you an example where I enter data that is missing something and I try to search for an item in the database and it doesn't show up. But then when I get the right thing, when I get the right ID and search using that name or that ID, then I see everything that I need. You get it? Yeah, so I tried what I tried last time, and I showed you. So for example, if I try to search for this very item here, 0334. Okay. So you can see what I was saying, yeah? So if I have, the naming convention is that it should have an AP, an A and P before, and then an hyphen, then you get the ID itself. You get, yeah? But this is different from this. So if I go to my tables and search with this, I may not get this item. But if I search with this name that is entered here in the form where I've selected, where I've highlighted with the blue color, here, even if I go to the tables and I use this very name, I'll be able to get it. But if I go and use this, what I've put here in the search box, I may not get it in the tables. Why? Because the naming convention is not right. You get. Though, when I'm still here in the form, this is the data view, it will show me that this item exists. But yet when I go to the tables, I may fail to locate it. So that's what we were saying, that it's always a good behavior to first make sure that the data is correct, it has no mistake before it is entered into the DB. Okay, so coming back to our questions. Then the other question, I mean the other point is the interface should be responsive. And we say that the interface or the software behind it should be fast and should load results quickly. Yeah. So so of course that one is self-explanatory. I don't need to go back the other side, but all we say that if I need an item in the database, when I click, with just a click, it should be able to display that item. That's what it tries to mean here. Then we talk about efficiency. It should allow users to perform all functions, navigations faster and with less effort. So just getting back there a little bit. So here, what that point is trying to explain to us, that when I need to see anything here, when I'm on the interface, for example, if I need to see items that are under this table, by just a click, yeah, when I come and I remove this, yeah, by just a click, if I click on this item and I come here, so it should be able to display, give me a display right away. You get, yeah, I should get a display right away just by a click. You know, I shouldn't first have to rotate, then go here, go there. No. I just have to click and I have a display. Just click and I have a display. So that's what we mean. And you can navigate anything, provided you have all the user privileges of edit, write, and read. Yeah, you get what I'm saying? Okay. So getting back to our questions again. So we go to part C. So part C is saying, discuss two factors that can both affect the performance of Oracle database and can significantly be influenced by the skills of the programmer. So here, what we are required to do is to explain those factors that actually determined by the programmer of the database system. You get, yeah, because remember, a database is also a software. So like, it's also like a software, you get, because it also has the software part, you know. So when the programmer is at the initial stages, when he's creating this database, he should they're asking us to outline those few features that are determined by the programmer's skills to ensure the optimization of the database. Yeah. So one of which we said we have the database organization. So database organization is how the server organizes the physical structures used to store data. You get, yeah. So when you go to the server, okay. Now where I am, where you see this display, this display is on a server instance. Yeah, you get. So this is just mirroring in the server. Yeah, but now let me first let me get to the server itself. Yeah.
Solomon,
Yes.
can I say something?
Yes, please.
The answers I'm seeing to that question, they look like they're the general answers.
Yes, there. Yeah, there's general answers, but I'm just presenting, I'm just showing something, yeah?
No, what I'm saying, there are the general answers that, there are the general factors that affect performance. What
No.
I know, yeah, the ones that are affected by the skills of a programmer are different from that. It's like, it's what I remember. Is it database organization and some other 2 points there? But the network architecture, the client server communication and everything, those ones are technical. Like, they cannot be controlled by the skills of the programmer, isn't it?
They can. And they can, and I'm going to show you why.
Can I say something too?
Yes.
Yeah, according to what Konsi is saying, and according to Mr. Matovu, And according to that question, which is saying discuss 2 factors that affect performance of Oracle database and significantly influenced by the skill of the programmer. He said there are 3, which is database organization, selection path, and
Sorry?
strategy following.
Come again?
Mr. Matob said those factors were 3. One is database organization, the other one is selection path, the other one is strategy
The connection path.
selection path.
Selection path.
Yeah.
And the other one is?
Strategy buffering.
Come again?
Strategy buffering.
Started.
Strategy.
Oh, I can't get it.
Strategy buffering.
Strategy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those are the ones that affect or influence the skill of a programmer.
Okay, now do you know why I had to put up this? It's because you see in the handout that he gave us, remember he gave us like I think around 7 points. He gave us like around 7 points. Then he said, then he said that the first 5 can be influenced by the skills of the programmer. Then the rest are not.
No, the last 3.
The last 3, not the first 5.
The first 5.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, that's right. I remember that. I think I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
So you can correct that one.
so we correct this. So the right one is database organization. Yeah. So
Then the other one is access path selection.
yeah. Let's try to get to your access. Results. Specific. Jones.
Yes, Solomon.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm suggesting can we just continue and then you do that later and then forward the document to the group? Is it okay?
Okay, no problem.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's better. Okay. Okay, so thanks for that correction. Yeah. Yeah. So now so let's continue. So the next question says, Oracle database management supports thousands of users and may be expected to run all the time in complete security. This database may need tuning. Oh, okay, yeah, okay. So this database may need tuning. Then they ask us to define what tuning is. So in the solution we have says tuning refers to the process of designing, building, and modifying the database system to optimize certain areas of operation. Yeah. So this addition is just an additional. Says set the minimum number of initialization parameters and leave other parameters at default. Yeah. So you see, when designing a database, there are some crucial parameters that should be focused on. For example, mainly the storage. So when setting up maybe, for example, the block sizes, you should make sure that the block size that has been set or initialized should be able to store updates that may come in even before the database is put up for use by all other users. So this block size should be able to capture all updates that come in. You get and other parameters now, like the table spaces, then the control files. Yeah. So at the initial stage of the database configuration and creating all those parameters, some of those should be focused on. You get. Then the next part, they are telling us to discuss the various trade-offs and balancing when tuning an Oracle database. So trade-offs. These are like let me say like the trends or the main areas of focus, like where the areas that they focus on. Because remember, at the end of the day, the whole process of database tuning is focused at optimizing the data you get expected by the users you get. So one of which we have processing versus storage. So in this, if you want to improve the processing speed of the database, so processing covers a number of things. When you talk of processing, maybe you could talk of responsiveness of the database, like how long it takes to bring back results, to query results, and then to process the queries and then give results to the users. You get, yeah. So you could either compromise on storage and increase processing. Like you reduce the storage area so that you create more virtual memory, because remember, processing, when the database is processing, it requires more virtual memory. Virtual memory, we mean memory that is created during user sessions. You get, yeah. So if you create more virtual memory and reduce on the main storage, it will help you speed up your database system. You get, yeah. So I'm going to show you something about the virtual memory, yeah, and then main storage as well. So I'm going to present my screen. So so I told you in the first place where is the server itself. Looking at the storage, I'm looking at the disk. Yeah. So this where my server is, this blue line that has something that is red. Yeah. Are you seeing it? Yeah, so this red stripe that you see, now this is the virtual memory that is created to store all the edits and all the modifications that are made during a user session. So in this server, you can see that there is this part. I have up here where my cursor is, there is this blue line which has 100 gigabytes. So now this, yeah, and it's related to other space that is left on the hard disk for other utilities. You get, yeah. So now this is the server. Now I'm going to go back my space, this blue stripe where my hello, can you get me, guys?
Solomon, your breaking.
Yeah, my internet connection, yeah.
Your
Okay, so I'm
network is
back,
not really good. Okay.
You can get me now, eh?
Beg pardon on the last statement. We didn't get you. We are breaking.
Okay, so I was saying that this display that you're seeing right now is the server itself. It's the server machine, yeah. Now, but where we were when we were beginning, when I was showing you the forms and all that stuff, that was one of the instances that I'm mirroring into this server. So now I'm leaving the server and I'm going back to the instance. Then I will show you. So when you look into this server, first of all,
Solomon, we can't see your screen. I, for one, I can't see your screen.
oh, okay. Let me check on the display. Okay, can you see it now?
Yeah.
Okay. It's okay now, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so I was saying, so this is the server where I am. So now this interface you're seeing is the interface of the server manager. Let me just minimize it a bit. So now this is the server itself. I've just minimized the server manager. Now this is the server. These are the specifications, the space available, and all that. Yeah, you get it. So when you look up here where my cursor is, you see an IP address that is ending with .143. So when I leave this, now this is the server. So but where we started from is an instance that is mirroring into this server. So I'm going back to the instance, then I'll show you something. Yeah. Yeah, so you can see now, yeah. So this is the instance where we were last time. So so we have the username here. This is my username. So this is my instance. This is my instance I use for making my modifications, my edits, and all that stuff. Yeah. And then we have the volumes. So now this, what you're seeing as volumes is my what? Is my is my virtual memory that has been allocated. In that, every time I log into the server, every session I open up, all I do in that session, this is where it is stored. And when you go back to the server, you'll find this, and you find when you check on the strip of the virtual memory, and we check under this username, you realize that I also have this 100, but it's also being occupied. Why? Because every time I log in, whatever I do, every modification I do is saved back the other side in the server. You get, yeah, it's backed up, yeah, in the session manager. So now this is what we call an instance. Just to clarify again, we talked of an instance, and maybe we didn't explain it further. So an instance, in simple terms, we said that an instance is made up of memory and then the background processes. Yeah, those are the components of an instance. So a database instance, or a server instance, just to say, now like this particular one here, you can see for it has a .73. So this is the IP address, because I'm using remote desktop to log into the server. So this is the IP address I use to log into the server. You get, yeah. So now the server itself is where we were before, yeah. So when I just come to server manager in this instance, I'm checking on the server manager. So you can see that this instance, then I'll check on the volumes. So we check on the disk. So now this instance has this amount of memory, you get, and this memory is only there to save everything that I do, and it is saved back in the server, you get, yeah. So meaning that this instance is mirroring in the server. So whatever I do here has to go back the other side in the server. You get what I'm saying? So this is the same memory that I was showing you. So now the instance name is called OSP1. I mean OSP2, as you see here, where my server is, it is OSP2. So, but now, even on this instance, different users can log on to the same instance, you get. So now I personally, I use the same instance and I have my own account on the instance, you get. So that's what I was showing you when I was showing you the username and all that. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, so now let's go back to the server. So this is the server now, you get. So when you look at the host name here, host name is OSP1. So now OSP1, this is the main instance that is in the server itself. Now me, the one where I was, the .73, mirrors into this one here. So everything I do here takes effect in all the instances. There is a second instance. I'll also show you that one as well. Yeah, so this is the other instance. This is the second instance. Yeah. So, and you see that why we say that it mirrors into the server, you realize that every time I open up any of them, it has that server manager dashboard. You get, yeah? It all of them have this. So it's meaning that as you are in the instance, it's like you are in the server itself. You get. Hmm? As you are in the server instance or the database instance, you are in the server. It's like you are in the server itself. So whatever you do takes effect in the server as well. So this is the second instance I was telling you. So for it is this. No. This is a different one. 73, 143. Yeah, so that is the other instance that I was telling you about. Yeah, so they're used by different people, only that me, I have access, I have all privileges, so I can access any, because I kind of do support. Yeah, so now I can access any in case there is any issue. I just ask for downtime, and then I can log in and help them out. So that is the second instance. Okay, let's just get back to our questions, and we continue. Okay, then we also have storage versus memory. So we are back to our questions. We are discussing the trade-offs and balance when tuning an Oracle database. So we looked at the processing versus storage. Then we have the storage versus memory. So when we talk of storage and memory, there seems not to be any difference. But actually, let me say, because when you look at memory, we have both secondary and primary memory, you get. Then in servers, we have the virtual memory. Then we also have the secondary memory, or sometimes it's called static memory in servers. Yeah. So now the virtual memory, that is the memory that contains our SGA. So that is memory that is temporary. Yeah. Not like the SGA. All of you know that it's only loaded as long as the instance is powered. So anytime you open up an instance, the SGA is loaded. You get. And whatever you do during your session, yeah, whatever you do during your session when the instance is powered, is saved onto the static memory of the server, and then this memory here ceases to exist. That's why you see that every time you open up, when you shut down an instance, every time you open up, you are allocated a new memory area where your modifications are stored after the session. So getting back to this when tuning, so you could compromise on this memory and then have better storage, or you could decide to reduce on you could decide to give more storage capacity and then compromise on memory. But then they all have effects, yeah, because you see this memory, when we mostly look at the virtual memory that is assigned for your user sessions. So if you run out of this memory, trust me, the machine won't run. The machine will be very slow. Yeah, because when you log in, every time you try to do modifications, since they are not like they have limited storage, so even the speed of storage like will be so slow. So you can even click on something and it will keep loading for some time. You get. And if this memory, particularly the virtual memory for storing your user sessions, if it is filled, however much memory you have on the disk, and you are using an instance, still you'll have problems. Yeah, because that will mean that you will struggle to have your session, yeah, your user session loading. Yeah, and actually in most cases it doesn't even load. Your session won't load. It will show you that you have session error. You get, just because there is no space where all your modifications are going to be saved. Yeah, so me, I'm just doing a general explanation, but I would request you to get time and read in your handout. All these things are there. So me, I just made an outline, but when you get some, yes?
It seems Ibra has something to say about that.
Okay.
Please.
Okay.
Maybe he can add more.
Yes, Ibra, come through.
Solomon, proceed. I forgot to put my hand down.
No, you can say what you want to say. I didn't see the hand. You know, when I'm explaining, sometimes I don't see the hand.
No, it's okay.
It's okay?
Proceed, Solomon.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir. Okay. Then the other one is updates versus queries. Yeah. So when we are talking about updates, we mean the new modifications or changes that we make to the data that is, the new data or objects that we feed into the database. Then when we talk of queries, this is just like trying to work around with the data that is already existing in the database. You get, yeah? So, so when you look at the side of updates, yeah, you could create, you may create, you may create, let me say, still it will do with memory. So you may create more memory for your updates and then compromise on the processing space for queries. Yeah. So when we talk of queries, let's just have a glance at what a query is. Yeah. So I'll share. Okay. This will give us a good thing. So when we talk of querying, this is just like trying to play around with data that is already in the database to achieve what we want. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So for example, when you look at this, this is a table that is already in the database. Yeah. So when we talk of querying, you can see we have something here. You see where my cursor is? We have something like saved queries. Yeah. So meaning that this data is already in the database tables. So when we are in this data, in this table, the table is giving us a display of everything that is in it's giving us a display of all the items, all the elements that are in the table. But we may want to, like, okay, let me call it like filter out, like, yeah, have a display of only some queries, maybe like entered on a particular date or after a particular date. So that's when we that's when we talk about querying, yeah. So for example, if I want, let me say, first of all, let me activate something here. Let me activate date of update. And maybe, for example, I say I need to see items that were entered after this date or before this date, yeah? So just give me a moment. So, or let me look at update user, yeah? So I want to see items that were entered in the table by a particular user, you know? Yeah, so now this column, I've just activated this. So when I come to this column here, this is the column that has active users that updated these things. So if I want to query out, so you see the number of users that edited in, like added data into this table. So when I want to query out only those items that were added in by Randy, say for example, so I'll click on this. Yeah, so I'm going to run my query. Then I'll leave all others unmarked. Then I'll only come under, I'll only come here, and I could choose to come and just select the name Randy here. Yeah. Or let me just choose the one that's that I edited myself. So when I click on the ones that were edited by Solomon. So you see, I just entered one item today as I was showing you. So all the others were entered by other people. So I've queried out only the items that I entered. You get, yeah? So that's what we talk, well, that's what we mean by querying. So getting back to our point of looking at update and querying, yeah? So when you look at the side of updates, yeah? So I told you we have these forms for updating the data, yeah? So what we are trying to look at that, you see in the whole thing of database tuning, it's you compromise on one item and then make the other one more efficient, yeah? But you look at the order of priority, yeah? So in this case, you first of all check between updates, like updating the database and querying, which one should be faster, you get, yeah? So if you want to have faster database update, then you put more memory on the what, you give more memory to what, to your I mean, you create more temporary memory that is allocated when making modifications and all that stuff. Yeah. Then if you want to have more querying speed, just like you've seen what I've done, I just put in something, I query, and then I have my display already. Yeah. So if you want that, and actually, as a matter of fact, when dealing with databases, these two aspects are all good. So that's why you cannot compromise on any of them. Yeah. But you should make sure that they are all efficient, because entering data, you need to spend less time so that you can do more work. And then when you're also querying, because remember you're looking for something, and perhaps you could be in a rush or in a hurry, and you need to have a display very fast. So if you still have, if your querying capability of the database is compromised, so that means that you query something, then it will take some time to load. Yeah, but you've just seen, I've just done a click and I have everything I want. Yeah, so those two are very essential. Yeah, those two are very essential. So that's why it is most advisable that when dealing with databases, it is advisable that you make sure that those two are all efficient. Yeah, you get, yeah? But sometimes it may not be achievable. It may not be achievable depending on your, depending on the initial configurations and those parameters that how the parameters are set at the creation time of the database. Yeah, so that's this was just to show you how queries work. Yeah, so let's get back to the other side. Okay, so we go to question 2 now. The question reads, Oracle Server products are simply executable programs that perform important activities when they are run. These executables and a series of files, these executable and a series of files, memory and processes support access to the database. Describe fully the the 3 basic files required for normal database operation. Yeah, so we have those files. We have the data files. These store user data in form of Oracle block. These store user data in form of Oracle blocks. Then we have the redo logo files. All these keep a complete record of all the data, all the database transactions. Yeah. So now, just to expound on transactions. You see, in most cases, when we talk of transactions, most of us look at our business transactions where you pay money and you're given what you want. Yeah. But in databases, it's a different thing. So a transaction is just like a series of processes that run in the background of the database, you know, to make sure that all the user queries are processed and then the user receives results. Yeah. And transactions also come into play when the user logs into the instance. So the moment the user powers up an instance, this process start running, because everything you do, every click you do, you see it as a click, but it has to run a process in the background. Yeah. So that is just a brief on the transactions. Yeah. And then we also have the binary control file. This records database level details like database name or related file names, and the last time each file was updated. So when we look at the database level, or we mean the physical structure, yeah? And when we talk of the physical structure of the database, we talk about the storage, that is the files, the buffers, the different buffers, and all that stuff, you know? Yeah, so these are the files. These are the files. I would show you something about the logos. Let me just give you something little about the logos. I'll show you the logos, how the logos work in the database. Okay. Okay, this is another application, but it's on the same server. Yeah, it's on the same server, but I just want to show you something about the logos. Oh, sorry.
Yes, Solomon. Can you remind me of what we are doing?
Sorry?
Can you please remind me of what you're doing?
Yes, I'm getting there. I'm going to explain. Yeah, I'm getting there. I actually, before I went into this, I said I wanted to show you something about the logo files. Yeah.
All right, all right.
Yeah. Configuration. Okay. Okay. Now, what you're seeing right now, this is an interface where I check from which I check the logos, all the operations that took place. Mhm, that took place in one of these remote units. Yeah. So let me just get there. Let me just put in something. This, that, put it down. So down. Right. Okay. That's not right. Today's what? From what? Yeah, guys, so what I'm doing now, I'm trying to run something to show me the logos of the records that, the logos of the records that are showing the server connections, the warnings, errors. So I'm trying to set the time, but only that I'm having issues. I don't know why it is jamming to set the time. Something create some audio. Anyway, we shall see that some other time. Let's first continue. I'll get you there. Okay, so we are back here. We had finished the files. Then we go to the next question. The next question is saying, remember our main question is up here. So they were telling us to describe fully the meaning and then the different other aspects. So here they're telling us to describe the system global area and the operation of its components. So first of all, we have to define what the system global area is. And say that the system global area is a group of shared memory structures that contain data and control information for one Oracle database instance. Yeah, just as I told you that this SGA is only loaded for an instance. When the instance is powered, the SGA is also loaded. So we could define it as that. Then again, I went ahead to put in something. I said then. Is anyone saying something?
Yeah. Rachel is saying something.
Yes, Rachel, come through.
Unmute. Okay.
Maybe some of the things you could summarize because we are almost up to time and we haven't discussed too much. Yeah, so
okay,
maybe
it's
that
fine.
those that require too much of practical bit, you can reduce a little bit.
Okay, fine. Okay, so now we are going to be a bit faster now, since we are soon going out of our time. Yeah, so that is the global, the system global area. Then we looked at the components because they told us to talk about the system global area and then the operation of its components. So talking about the components of the system global area, we have the database buffer cache, which holds data blocks currently in use. As simple as that. Then you will read through the rest. Then we have the redo logo buffer. This records any changes made to the data blocks in the database buffer cache. Yeah. Then you will also continue and read through. So basically here we're looking at the components of the SGA and how they operate all their functions. Yeah. So those are the three. We have the database buffer cache, we have the redo logo buffer, then we have the shared pool, which holds information that Oracle uses to execute specific SQL statements. Yeah. Then we go to part C. We have the main background processes. These are supposed to be processes in existence during operation. In existence during the operation. So these are the operation processes of the SGA. When you check your nets, you will see them. We have the database writer. This is responsible for writing modified blocks back from the database buffer to the disk. Yeah, because you see, during the processing, the database, when the database transactions are running, those buffers are created, but buffers are temporary storage areas that are created within the server as database is running. Yeah. So after the processes have run, this data, after it has been modified, it has been processed, it has to be stored. So after that, these buffers have to be written into the hard disk storage areas. Yeah. So that is what is what we are trying to explain here. Then we have that is also the other process. This is responsible for writing the contents of the redo logo buffer to the redo logo file. Yeah. So we have the redo logo file, and we talked about its function. Yeah. Then on the disk. Yeah. So you will also read through that and see. We also have the archive process. This periodically writes detailed copies of the redo logo files to offline or secondary storage. Yeah. So so meaning that uh, this only writes data to those storage areas that are not connected during the processing sessions. Yeah. So there is a question they asked us about, like which component of the SDA is responsible for offline storage. So this is the thing. You would refer to this. This is it. Yeah. Then the next question was asking to draw the schematic diagram to represent the architecture of the above of what we've been talking about. Yeah. Yeah. So in simple terms, they were asking us to draw a sketch of the Oracle database. I mean, the sketch of the Oracle DBMS database and its operations. So to represent all the above, to represent the SDA, the files, and all the storage, the buffers, and all that stuff. So when you look at this is not a bit clear, but this gives you a clear outline of the whole thing. But then you could refer to this to name it. And I think we don't have it in our notes, but you could refer to this. Okay. So going down to question 3, I think let's just finish up with this question. Then we shall call it a day. So question 3, part A is asking us to explain briefly the following terms as used in Oracle. So we have table space, and I say it's an Oracle database storage subunit that groups related logical structures, that is to say segments, together in the data files. Yeah. So when you read your notes, it's not doesn't come out clearly, but this is what I got in the research that I did. So you could also try to make research and try to compare. Yeah. So these table spaces are also created at the point of creation, at the point of database creation. Yeah, at the initial stage of creating the database, because you see this data is stored in levels. Yeah, it's stored in levels. So of which before like as it is stored in the database, it is stored in levels. So meaning that at every level there has to be a storage structure. So of which we have one of them being the table space. There are many because we have the main that is for the database itself. Yeah, that one is created to store those the logical files. Then there are several for the users. Yeah, so when you're a database admin, you ought to know that and make sure that the table space that is created for the system should not be used to store user data. Yeah. Then we have exceptions. So when you look at this, yeah, we have we have it in our notes, but it's not well explained. Yeah, but then that one is it's just referring to procedures, yeah, to different procedures that are used in SQL. You know, SQL is the main language that we use in database manipulation, but then there are those procedures that have to be used alongside the SQL statements and commands. So this is what it's trying to mean, yeah. So when you read about this, you'll get more information about it. Yeah, but for starters, you could refer to this, what we have here. Yeah, then you can get something else to add on onto it. But these are just identifiers in the PL/SQL that are raised during the execution of a block to terminate its actual actions, especially when an error has occurred. So this PL is just simply in full. When you are searching for this PL/SQL, it is just called Oracle Procedure Language/SQL. Yeah. Then this one helps you to mix both SQL statements with the other English words. Yeah. For example, when you're writing SQL commands, you could have we have those we have the main keywords in SQL. For example, we have the select keyword, but you could use it alongside another procedure. For example, when you're querying something from two different tables, or you want to query several things and have one display, you could use the SQL. Next time we discussed, yeah. So those are the procedures. Then we have row migration.
Sorry,
You
you're
get it?
breaking.
Okay, I'm back. Yeah, someone had called and I'm using phone internet. Yeah, so I had to just terminate the call. Yeah, so we're talking of row migration. So we know that data is stored in blocks.
Please share your screen.
Sorry?
Can't see your screen solo.
Okay, getting back. Okay, yeah, so we were talking of row migration, and I was telling you that data in the database is stored in form of what? I mean, in Oracle database is stored in form of Oracle blocks, as we all know. Yeah. So and every record, as a record is entered into a block, row migration. Those are some of the storage problems that result if some of these parameters are not set rightly at the beginning or at the creation of the database. Yeah. So I say that row migration is an Oracle storage problem that occurs when a number of records fit in one block. Then, if no space is available as a result of an update, the row being updated has to be moved to another block, yeah, where it's accessed or referred to by its original row ID. This is supposed to be row ID. Yeah, using a pointer. So some of this information is in the handout, so you could also read more about it, yeah, and you try to come up with something that is best for you. Yeah, so that is what I came up with. Yeah. Okay, the next question. Now we go to part B. In relation to Oracle file structure, explain heap files. These are direct. I'll just read through. You will check in your notes. These are contiguous storage structures that organize records on order of entry. So meaning that you remember when we were studying about stacks, yeah. So now a file when writing to a file, so either data is added at the beginning to push the other records back or at the end, yeah. But as for heap files, the structures, I mean the heap file that's in the file structure, data is organized, I mean records are organized in a way of order of entry. So the record that is entered at like after the other will be stored in that way. So if there's another record that is existing already, so this one will be stored after it. You get it? So simple as that. Then we have the hash files. These are specialized non-contiguous storage structures designed to provide fast access to single records on basis of their key values. Yeah. So meaning that basing on the primary key value of the record, that's how it will be arranged in the files. You get? Yeah. So there is a convention in the database system, there's a convention of how this data is stored, yeah, basic on the key. So a particular primary key, a particular record with a given primary key will be given first priority, and then others can follow. We shall look into that sometime when we get the next discussion. Then part C, explain the meaning of the following block parameters available when creating an Oracle object. We have PCT free 40. I think we all know that the keyword PCT free is used to create free space for updates in an Oracle block. Yeah. So when we have this and we have a 40 here, that means that we are setting the free space to 40%. Yeah. You know, this is done in percentages. Yeah. So I won't still go to into that too much. So you can read about that. Then the next question was asking us to analyze the SQL code given below and answer the questions that follow. So this is the code. So that is our code. And we have select each location from houses where exist. Then we have select, then we have that ampersand. Is it ampersand or a star something? From person where sex in female and male. Now, when you look at this this code, we have our select keyword. Yeah, we have the select keyword. Yeah, we have the select keyword, and we know that this is used to pick out. Yeah, like to pick out. A moment, please. Okay, I was saying that this is used to pick out particular items from database tables. Yeah. So the first one is the first statement says select each location from houses. Now let's just look at the syntax of the select keyword. Yeah. So you can see my screen. Yeah, so when we are looking at the select keyword, this is how it is. Yeah, this is the syntax. This here is the syntax. Now, the first one here, the select, is the keyword. Then column or column list, this is the name of the column in the table. Then from is also a keyword. Then this table name, this is the name of the table now where we are selecting the data from. You get it? As explained down here. Yeah. So now when we get back to our code, so when we get back here, we see that we have the select keyword. Then we have, this is the column now. Yeah, each location is the column in the table that we are looking at. Then the table from which we are getting the data from is called houses. This is the table name. Yeah, it's called houses. Yeah. Then where is the clause? One of the clauses that are used in the SQL statements. You remember we looked at the different clauses that are used in the SQL statements. So let me also just take you back. Let me take you back the other side to see how this the syntax of the where clause, how it works. Yeah. So this is the where clause. Yeah. This is the where clause. So you can see the where clause, when you look at its syntax, you have something like this. So here, I was looking at it in line with the select keyword. So you have select, then you select the column in the table, which where you want to pick your data. Then from, then this is the table name. Then this where, the where clause comes down here. Then you give it a condition. Yeah. So for example, if we have a table, maybe it's called, let me say, student table. So you could say, you select out under the name column, yeah, maybe under the name column, name of student, yeah, student name. You select out the student name in the column student name. Then the table is student details, yeah, where, yeah, in that column where the name either can be maybe starting with a given letter or ending with a given letter, any condition, yeah, but the syntax is like this, yeah. When you're using it alongside the select keyword, this is how it is, yeah. You select, yeah, you select from a column, you select a given element or item in the column, then from a given table, then give it a condition. So the where key, this where clause is just to give a condition as you're selecting all the stuff you're selecting from the table, yeah, from the database table. Yeah, so getting back to our question as we are about to conclude. Then there's also this part here, yeah. Do you see this part? We have where, and then we have sex, then in, then we have female and male, yeah. Now, what this statement is trying to explain here, you see we have this where clause, yeah. Then this, yeah, this is the column, yeah. This is the column in the table where we want to select our data. Then we say, now this in is one of those are some of the procedure words, yeah. I was telling you of procedures that are used alongside the SQL statements. So in is one of the procedure words, yeah. So still, let me take you the other side a little bit. Yeah, okay. Yeah, these are some, yeah, you get. So they're used to compare. They're used to compare different entries in the table. So we have the like, we have in, we have between, then we also have is null. So these are some of the words that are used alongside the SQL keywords. Yeah. So when you look at the in, they are saying that the column value is equal to any one of the specified set of values. Yeah. So now getting back to our code, here. So you see they're telling us that in, so meaning in this column of sex, yeah, we see whether we like the data we are picking out, yeah, the data we are picking out, that person you're picking out can either be a male or female. So we like in this statement we are not dictating, so meaning that it can be either a female or a male, yeah. So actually this in procedure word works like you know, with this Oracle statement, we also have those logical operators. We have the or, we have the and then we have the we have or and which other? There are three, yeah. So now when you just get time and read more about them, but this in procedure word works like the or, yeah. So meaning that when you're selecting an item from the table, it could be either male or female, yeah. That's what it was trying to mean. Okay, now let's look at our code and we conclude. So they're asking us that they're telling us there are two select queries. Write down the select query which will execute last and the field names in the SQL code. Yeah. So you see, Oracle database is not like the way these queries are entered or these SQL statements are entered. That's the way they are executed. Yeah. So in this case, we have two. Yeah. We have two here. So this is one, and then this is the second one. Yeah. So this will be executed first, and then this one will be executed last. Yeah. So now this is the one that gives us our answer. So we have it here. You get, yeah, we have it here. So when you look at this, now this is what? This one here. This one is a table name. Yeah. This one here, the person is the table name from where someone of the sex, either female or male, will be, I mean, details of people who are either female or male will be picked. Yeah. So now this is our statement. And then if we are looking for the fields, we have, so this is the field that is in this query is only this sex, the sex field, yeah. But the table is person, so this is the name of the table. Then sex is the field, yeah, because the question was telling us to write to write down the select query which will execute last and the field name or names in the SQL code. So this is it, yeah. Then they were telling us to identify any one possible field value in the code, yeah. So this one is was not straight to me, so that's why I didn't put there anything. But if anyone can, if anyone gets it properly or they understand it, they can also come in and give us a hand here.
Wait,
yeah. So
aren't the field values female and male?
Sorry.
The field values aren't they female and male? Because those are the values that go inside the fields. Is either female or male?
Okay, now you see in these database tables, when we talk of a field is a column, yeah. A field is a column, yeah. Then in that column, you either have female or male. You get, isn't it?
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so that means that we only have one field, which is sex, yeah.
Yeah, okay then. Jeez.
Yeah, so maybe we need to ponder about this other last part where they ask us for field value. This is what I don't get, yeah, the field value.
What of person?
Person is a table name.
Okay. I get you.
I feel like male or female is the answer there. Because those are values.
I was also thinking the same thing.
Because those are values of the field name sex.
No, my opinion is sex will be a field name where it has the data where female and male, and then each location will be a field in the table called houses. How is that?
Yeah, actually that is right. That is very right. Yeah. So in the field sex, we have the field values as female and male. Yeah. You get. Then in the other second code, yeah, actually now since this question is focusing more on the last query, so I think in this case we shall have we can use either female or male. You're right. I think that's the thing. So one of the two. Okay, guys. I think we can call it a day. Unless you guys have some questions, you can post them. And also, if you have some suggestions of how we could have our next delivery, they are also very welcome. And all we have here is not conclusive. It's still open to discussion. In case anyone goes out there and they make some research and find something new that is connected to what we discussed today, it is still welcome. We can always make changes.
Yeah. Right. Thank you, Solomon, for the presentation, and yeah, thanks to everyone who has contributed. Yeah, and hope to see you next time. I don't know when we are hoping to meet again, and then yeah, happy Labour's Day. Though it's ending. Yeah, so I'll
yes.
It was yesterday.
Can I ask?
Yes, Felix is saying something.
Okay.
Felix, come through, please.
Yes, saying now, do I need to? What do I need? Because I've been seeing you using. Is it a Windows server, or what are you using? Like, because I've been seeing you using a server. So are you using a Windows server or?
I know the server I've been using is Duo. It has both Oracle and SQL, but each is for a particular application. Yeah, but I was just logging in just to make sure that we have the exact feel of what runs in the server, what happens, just that's it. But it's not a server that is like an Oracle server that I installed on my machine. Yeah, it's already existing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay.
I was going to ask, so nobody installed Oracle and tried out these things, eh?
I personally, I installed Oracle and I tried some stuff. I tried doing some stuff, but then I'd wanted to use Notepad 2. So when I tried to link it to Oracle, it somehow jammed and I've not yet figured out how to, like I'm still trying to figure out how to put it right, but it must work. Yeah? Because if you remember, even Matov was saying that you could, because it's better with the Notepad 2, you can, sorry?
Solomon, give some time to Kosi, Rachel, their hands have been up.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so Kosi, are you saying something?
Mia is just passing through our coat of thanks. What you've done for us is marvelous. Some of us have never seen these things, like truth be told, but we've seen them for the first time. We're so thankful for this session. You were so prepared to share with us. May God bless you. Thank you so much. And thanks for everyone who's participated. It is not easy. Data is not easy. Network is not easy. Time is not easy. We are very much grateful. May God bless you.
You're welcome.
That is
Rachel?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Also, can I speak?
It's okay.
Thank you, Solomon, for your time, and thank you for presenting to us this marvelous work. We really appreciate, and thanks for your data, everyone who has participated in this. I just had an inquiry, Solomon.
Okay.
For this specific paper you've done.
Sorry?
For this very specific paper you've discussed for us.
Okay.
Because I see you've done for us 3 numbers. So that was almost like the theory part. The rest of the numbers are actually practical bit. So I was wondering if you've passed through all these numbers, the number 4, 5, and 6. Because actually that's the best thing you could do for us if we pass through this, and we schedule some other time for the practical bit.
Yeah, actually, you see, today, because remember when we are doing all this, when we are discussing, it's not like we're just reading newspapers, so we just go through. But this was the first part, but we have to work on the whole paper. So probably the next time we have such a discussion, that's the bit we shall be handling.
Okay, but have you passed through these numbers before, like these other practicals?
Of course, before you come for any presentation, you have to make sure that you're well that you're going to present.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think, as I said in the group, our discussions for Oracle will always be on Saturday because that's when I have time. But during the course of the week, I'm also busy.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think next Saturday probably we shall have the same and finish that paper and we call it off.
Okay. So, what do you have for us next Saturday? Can we wait for this practical part, or we are going in for theory again?
No, we shall be continuing with the same paper because we have to finish it, yeah? So we've stopped on number 3, but we have to do all the numbers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So guys, is that it? Can we call it off?
Yeah, and then I was going to inform you guys that I'll be sharing either a link to the video or the video itself in the group, and then
just share the video itself.
I'll be also sharing a link to an online Oracle workbench, something like that, so you can practice your Oracle online instead of installing the whole system, the whole system on your computer. Otherwise,
thank you,
thanks for the
Edwin.
contributions and everything.
Okay, guys.
Thank you very much.
Edwin, for hosting us.
Have a good night.
That you have to parent.
So Edwin, yeah, just a quick one. Yeah, what shall we do tomorrow, or until Monday, or until Saturday?
I think it should be on
I
a
would
weekly.
suggest we weekend.
Yeah. It should be on the weekend, though we haven't scheduled anything for tomorrow, but we shall be seeing same goals.
Edwin.
Okay.
Yes.
Edwin.
Yes.
I think you see, as we had discussed in the group earlier on, I was thinking that during the course of the week, still some people could come up. You think it's all about like we have to take it upon ourselves, yeah. Like we just have to
Yeah.
take responsibility. Someone comes out and says, "I'll handle this," and then so that we don't have the like all that week's time like not utilized, and then you only have to come through over the weekend.
Right. We shall be discussing
I
that
think
in the
we
group
just
as well.
try to push it in the group again, and we see which people can come through. If no one can come through, since it is in the evening, we can still see amongst ourselves, we who have been the attendees of today, we could also see amongst ourselves and see what we can take it up, what we can take up, and then we try to see what we can, because time is not on our side.
Yeah. We should do that.
Yeah. Okay, thanks for today. I think I'll also share this. I'll share this document in the group after here. I'm going to send this file in the group. For those who need a copy of it, probably you will be able to download it and have it with you or print. Yeah, but I'm going to send it in the group. Otherwise, thank you guys. Hope to catch you next time. See you.
Right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Have a good night.
Okay, you too.
All right, good night.
Good night to everyone.
Good night.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Okay.